This video might prickle you, but I hope it prickles you in the manner of movement and gets you curious and has you asking questions. Is it truly an entity of unconditioned or is it an entity of condition? Well, welcome back to one's journey of unwinding the mind and, of course, your daily microdose. Now, tune in to the latest episode of One's Journey. Today, we are going to talk about the ego's God. We talk a lot about how the ego has its own representations of everything, of truth, because that would be the only way to keep us in the illusion. Because reality is, when you know truth and it is there, you always know truth. I know that sounds funny, but when you know it and it's there, it's always going to be knocking at your door. So in order to keep us distracted, the ego has created versions of the truth we know so that when we are starting to feel like, oh wow, God, I believe in God. I believe in a higher power. So the ego's like, I made you a God. I made you many gods. The ego has made so many different versions of God here in order to keep us distracted from the truth. And that has happened with love, that has happened with forgiveness, that has literally happened with everything that truth contains. There is an ego version. Today I'm going to talk about the ego God that doesn't accept everyone. I've been to church my fair amount of times, and this isn't a cut towards religion or church. It's in regards to the God that many of us are taught in religion or church, and not all, but my experience is that God, we are taught that God is this, he provides us with unconditional love and understanding and is our Father, and we are the child, and then they give us a list of things. If I do these, I am not acceptable anymore. If I am a lesbian, God doesn't love me. If I commit murder, God doesn't love me. And even if I do those things, sometimes some ego gods have the ability for you to save yourself, for you to sacrifice and request saving in order to be loved by God. Well, my definition of unconditional, that doesn't match. The standard definition of unconditional, I'm pretty sure, means there is no conditions. That if you love me unconditionally, no matter what I do, you still love me. And I'm not saying go do all of these awful things, but what I'm saying is it immediately puts you in a place that you are a sinner. You are bad. You are not worthy of God's love. Because if we look at the list of things you do and either have to repent or you're not allowed, you're going to go to hell, we've all done at least one of those. And if you haven't, well, great, but I'm pretty sure you have. And technically, you need to be baptized after your birth to remove whatever sins, I don't know where those sins come from, but to clear your vessel so that you are clear here. And I know different religions are different and different churches are different. And I'm using my example of, I've been to Lutheran and Catholic and New Age churches. And this is my belief of it, my observation. So by no means, if you don't align with this, that is okay. But I do ask you, are you told that God is unconditional and then there is conditions somewhere? Like you got to go to church every Sunday, you need to pray the rosary, you need to all these things in order to be accepted. At the bottom line, that just doesn't make sense because you can't have the same sentence of God is unconditional and there be a bunch of conditions in it. That's not unconditional. Again, it immediately places us in this place of we are unworthy, of separation, of sacrifice, of we are sinners, and that's exactly what will keep us here, keep us believing the illusion, because it actually causes us to be scared of God. That God is a big judger, right? He's all judging. That's all he does is judge. According to the list of things, if you do, you have to repent or pray the rosary or you're just a sinner. And that he had to send one of his kids down here, Jesus, a piece of him to be nailed to a cross because we are such messed up people who sin so bad. Like, I'm scared of that God. Even right now, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to meet that guy. That guy does not sound nice. He sounds like he is not accepting of anyone. And to me, everything we've taught about projecting, it sounds like that God likes to project. That God likes to get angry at you because he sees things in you that he doesn't like in himself. So it sounds a lot like a God created by the ego to me. A God that projects. A God that separates. A God that tells you got to sacrifice and that you are an awful being if you don't do X, Y, and Z and you are going to hell. What if we're already in hell? Because according to what I've heard, anywhere away from God is hell, and pretty sure God isn't sitting on my couch. What if we're dreaming we are in hell? That's another video for a different day. But essentially, if you believe that God is unconditional, my only invitation from this video, again, these are my beliefs, and I'll keep this video rather short, but my invitation is to get curious, ask some questions, because if God truly is unconditional, is there a list of conditions that your God that you love and honor and live every day for that make you unworthy of his love? Because I'm here to say the God I believe in, he truly loves you unconditionally. And he knows you are not capable of sin. He knows that he doesn't even know of this place. This place is too effed up for him to know because he's wholly perfect. And if he wasn't wholly perfect, then he could know about this. But if he knew about this place, he wouldn't be wholly perfect. And we're the ones who got ourselves here because we had this tiny mad idea of separating from him. And the biggest challenge here is forgiving ourselves for having that tiny thought and separating from God. But by no means is God mad. He loves us. He doesn't even know we're here. Again, that picture I show of, we're in bed dreaming, having a nightmare. If your child was doing that, unless they're flailing or screaming, you have no clue what they're dreaming. And you're just watching them, singing them a song. And you think everything is okay. Well, I think that's what's going on with God. This video might prickle you, but I hope it prickles you in the manner of movement and gets you curious and has you asking those questions and has you getting a deeper understanding of whatever it is you believe in. And is it truly something that loves you unconditionally? Is it truly an entity of unconditioned, or is it an entity of condition? I know this video is going to bring shit up in you because even in the manner of sharing it brought shit up in me. So I would love to hear, and I would love for us to go back and forth and just share what it's bringing up, because that's the only way we can move through it, is to allow the darkness to come to the light so it's dispelled. Tons of love. As always, until next time, remember you are worth it.